Welcome to episode 16 of Drop the Mitts Hockey Podcast, brought to you in partnership with Primetime Productions. I am with my co-host, Mikey Sullivan. I'm Chris Davis. Mikey, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, dude? Oh my God, my mood this past week and a half has elevated so much. I mean, hockey's back. I spent all last night watching games. Me and you, we both went to opening night for the Bruins.
Yeah.
We didn't see each other, but it was kind of like a spur of the moment thing. I was in Boston. It was like 6:30, and I was looking at tickets, and I was like, you know what? Like, I think we're gonna go to this game tonight.
Yeah. So it was Emma and my anniversary that day, so we went to we kind of
Oh, no shit!
yeah,
Congratulations, dude. Let's go.
And so a year from that day, that's our wedding date too,
Hmm.
which kind of works out, so we don't have to fucking change anything, which is nice.
Yeah.
But we ended up going into Boston about 12 o'clock, dude. And we were kind of buzzing around. We saw Shan. So yeah, shout out Shan. That was awesome. Spent about an hour in the pro shop, dude. I was fucking mesmerized. All the shit that they had, the jerseys are unreal.
Yeah.
Confirmed, I love all of them. All three. I don't have
Yep.
and panicked a little bit for sure. It was a little bit overwhelming, but ended up
Yeah.
going with a James Van Riemsdyk jersey.
Hell yeah.
I think there were two in that arena that day, and he was wearing one of them. Um, but, but yeah, dude, overall it was fun. We hit Tresca beforehand, which
Yep.
That's Ray Bork's restaurant. Sat at the table 77, which kind of overlooks the north end.
Mhm.
Which was cool, and yeah, obviously the game was awesome. The crowd was bumping. Like the pregame ceremony, dude, gave me fucking
Oh,
chills the
so cool.
entire time. Uh, we were sitting kind of right near where Ray Bork was, like where he came out,
Yep.
and because I think he was in the club area or whatever, so we could see him, and man, just seeing him looking up at the screen, and then he was in tears. I was like, man, this is gonna be an awesome centennial year. It's
Yeah,
just
dude.
I know every game they're gonna do some sort of shit where it's like celebrating whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was such a good game too.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Phil Esposito, when he came out, dude, I think everybody had the same thought. I mean, he's in his 80s. He
Yeah,
looks like he's in his 50s, dude. He looks amazing.
I
He's a
look older.
stud.
I look older than he does.
Well, we were just talking. It must be our Dunkin' diet, dude. But dude, he looked so good, and just to kind of be in the seats there for that ceremony and see all these legends just in the building all at once, celebrating um, their contributions to the organization through all the years of dedication to Boston Bruins hockey, and just absolutely legendary moments, legendary players. I mean, Johnny Busick, Phil Esposito, Ray Bork, Bobby Orr, Bergeron, Chara, Sean Thornton, Tim Thomas making an appearance, Tuukka Rask. I mean, go down the list. Even the guys who played in the earlier era of Bruins hockey, like the 1910s, 1920s, 1930s, 1910s. Team didn't become a thing until 1924, but you know what I mean. Like all
It'd be
the first era,
124 now.
right? Yeah. But like even those guys who have passed on, they had people in their family
Yeah,
come down representing them and wearing their jerseys on the ice and everything, and just to kind of see it all, come into this one moment, 100 years of history, all in the building at once, was one of the most beautiful things. And I know
yeah,
me and you both being there, it was something that is literally a once in a lifetime experience, and we were both fortunate enough to be in the building with all those guys and be there for that moment.
yeah. I had to take out a small loan for those tickets, but honestly, well worth it.
I had to
Um,
take out a small loan for these jerseys, dude.
yeah,
The Jacobs cleaned up my wallet.
they know what they're doing, man.
Yeah, they do.
But again, yeah, well worth it. The game itself, dude, even was amazing.
Oh yeah.
I think they started out a little bit slow, but I mean that's normal with having gone through a whole off season first game. Um, what stood out to you in that game? I know there was a couple things that come to mind right away, and
Ooh.
especially for me, dude. was the play of Johnny Beecher.
Yep.
And
So good.
yeah, we're used to seeing the pasta multi-goal game.
Yep.
Allmark stood on his head. We've seen that. I think I was most impressed by the play of Johnny Beecher.
Yeah.
Dude, he made that questionable hit,
Yep.
and Jason Dick, he's no fucking slouch, dude. I mean,
No.
he can toss him.
You meet him in a back alley and you're leaving with a bloody nose and a broken jaw.
Yeah,
Honestly,
you
if
might not
you're
even
not,
leave that alley.
yeah, if you're
But
not Johnny Beecher.
yeah, but dude, and he like immediately answered the bell, and I love
Yep.
that shit, dude. Like that
Yep.
just goes to show, like he's ready for the big stage. Like
Oh yeah.
um, that line looked good. I think that was one of the the main, like the most consistent line, I think, in my opinion. I mean, obviously they didn't score. I mean, Lucic had the assist on Pasta's goal. But I think they were the most consistent line in that game.
Yeah, no, I do too. And I even said something on Twitter, like not really calling people out because I don't like to do that, but you saw a lot of people kind of hating on the move, saying Lucic was going to slow that line down. He's just a heavyweight, like it's a terrible move. Uh Check the game notes, bud. One assist, a lot of time on ice, and that line
Yeah,
was arguably that line was probably the best line that night.
yeah.
Definitely brought the energy, definitely brought a lot of buzz to the crowd. But I mean, when I'm thinking about that game, dude, you're talking about a guy who the media won't stop talking about, Connor Bedard. He is the real deal. Like
He
he's
is
legit,
as
dude.
advertised. Oh
As
my dude.
advertised, dude, maybe more because every time he touched the puck, you were worried that they were going to score.
Yeah.
And like legit, like
I
because when you're in the building, you get that feeling of like you can feel something kind of building. And you're like, oh shit, like they might score here. We need a big defensive play or a big hit or something. But you notice him, and there's not
yeah.
a lot of guys in the NHL that you can say that about, let alone a kid that's 18 years old.
Mhm.
Um, and obviously he scored his first goal, wraparound goal, first NHL goal on Allmark and against the Bruins. But there were moments too, like Chicago was coming down on Allmark on our end, and you see him just toe drag the puck and whip it at the net, and the thing comes off his stick at a million miles an hour, dude.
Yeah.
Seeing him play is if you're a legit hockey fan, as you know, everybody listening to this show probably is.
Right.
You gotta. He's worth the price of admission. Definitely go check him out next time you're able to.
Yeah, he's very similar to, like Connor McDavid, right? So, dude, the TV doesn't even do justice, right? How fast this
No.
kid is. Like, and I felt the same way about Connor McDavid until
Yep.
I saw him in person moving, and I was like mind blown how fucking fast these kids are. Like,
So fast.
and again, like for him, I was telling the guy next to me, I go, teams that play Connor Bedard and the same thing as McDavid, you cannot let him get going through the neutral zone
No.
and gain speed. And I think that's, yeah, everyone in the NHL is talented, obviously, but those guys, because again, you just mentioned his release, right?
Yep.
He gains speed through the neutral zone. He gets an opportunity to shoot. There's a pretty good chance that puck's going in the net every
Yep.
single time. And if not, it's going to create a phenomenal opportunity for a rebound.
Yeah, dude.
And dude, I couldn't even believe it. I think there was one where he was going down the opposite way because we saw him twice. So it was the second period. He was going down, dude, and again, they let him gain speed through the neutral zone. They had Brandon Carlo was out there pretty much every time he was out there,
Yep.
for a good reason. And again, I think it was a line change. They let him gain speed, and I think we're talking about the same shot. He missed the net, dude.
Yes.
The thing came off of his stick, and I was like, if that goes on net, dude, like that's probably going in the net.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I couldn't even fucking believe it, dude.
Dude, so I was in the 13th row, section 308, literally basically up against the wall. And we're definitely talking about the same shot because
Yeah.
it wasn't the second period and it was off a line change. But you saw the quick little toe drag snapshot and it
Mhm.
missed the net. But when it hit the glass, dude, I swear to God, my ears rang. And
That was
I'm in the balcony. It was
yeah,
so
dude.
hard.
Dude, it was amazing. Like just watching, and then he gets stroked off enough, on
Yeah,
TV and whatever. So we won't do that too much here. But
yeah.
it was crazy to watch him, and he's gonna have a huge year, dude. He's hitting over
Oh yeah,
70 points. That's
for
without
sure.
a doubt in my mind.
I will say too before we're done stroking him off. Um, that was the first time I think I've heard a crowd collectively go like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
to a shot that missed the net.
But you know
You know
what?
what I
What
mean?
wa- what was cool is the fact when he scored that wraparound goal, he got a good amount of cheers in that. In
Yeah,
that,
he did.
it wasn't. I mean, there weren't boos by any means. Like
No.
I mean, where I was sitting, I didn't hear. It was mostly cheers. I
Yep.
mean, I know his family was sitting second row in the balcony, which Czech
Yeah,
probably hasn't hit yet. But
that's a crazy
uh,
move.
yeah, but yeah, dude, it was such a good game. I was in, there were so many things that impressed me. I loved how Patois played.
Yep.
Um, I think he started a little bit slow, maybe pregame jitters, whatever. But
Yep.
I think overall, dude, yeah, we're 1 game out of 9 right now. For this trial, I can't see them sending him down, dude. It wouldn't
Yeah.
make sense to me.
No, it
Es-
really wouldn't, especially if you look at the way that the roster is kind of, built. The spot is here for him, and it's not like he's playing in this role because the Bruins necessarily need it, although that is a factor, but it's not the main driving factor.
Yeah,
He took the opportunity and he earned it. Like it's not like he was given this role being like, "Hey, let's see what you can do." He earned it in the preseason, and then he also, I mean, he had a point. He had a point on the opening goal for Frederick's tip. So as long as he keeps playing the way that he's playing and he doesn't, overthink things, get a little overwhelmed by the moment, like I can't see a reason why Don Sweeney, Cam Neely, Montgomery would want to send him back to juniors for another year. I,
yeah.
I
No,
can't I can't see it.
and honestly, I think it's just he obviously was slated on that third line, which I don't hate that line, but I think as time goes on and as he gets more comfortable with the speed of the game,
Yep.
it's an adjustment, dude. He's coming from junior and he's right in the NHL, so he's got to get used to that speed, the physicality. Like, I mean, he's going against grown ass men at this point.
Right,
Um,
right.
and I think I still believe that he's gonna end up on that first line with Marchand and DeBrusque. I think they're giving him time to adjust. I think they're giving him time to kind of get his feet wet. And I think by the time we're maybe a month, 2 months into the year, we're gonna be talking about Patois being on the first line with Marshy and DeBrusque.
Yeah, dude. Like, and I was just out of curiosity, right? Because when was the last time? I don't know if you even have the answer to this question, but when was the last time that the Bruins had like a player come in and completely skip the AHL and play straight into the NHL? Because it wasn't Pasta. Pasta had time with
Yeah, 20
Providence.
games. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. He had time in Providence. McAvoy had time in Providence. Sagan, maybe. It might be
Yeah, but he
Sagan.
was he was scratched a good amount too at the beginning.
Right, right.
Names that come to mind, like Joe Thornton, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. And that was so long ago.
Yeah,
Like that's what I'm saying. Like, when was
yeah,
the last time that a kid came in with this much skill, this much speed, looking this comfortable
yeah,
in a legit pro regular season NHL game? I
yeah. No,
can't
I agree,
remember.
dude.
I can't remember.
And he looked good. Like I said, I think he had some mental lapses in the defensive zone, which that's going to come with time and that's going to come
Yep.
with experience. And um, but it's good, dude. The more ice time he gets, the better he's going to be for it.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's funny because I'm looking that up right now. I don't know his exact ice time. I can tell you in a second, but Patra played 14 minutes 50 seconds. So
as a third line center, that's
as a third line center, he also had 252 power play time on ice. So
yeah,
I mean they're using him really well, and I think you're right in the fact that you know he's probably, as long as he keeps playing this way, he's probably going to bounce up a line or two.
mhm,
But for now, I like what they're doing with him. I like how they're utilizing him. Don't overwhelm him right away.
right.
Starting him on the third line, I think, was the best move that Jim Montgomery could pick. Um, and it's not like he's playing alongside slouches either. He's got Trent Frederick and Morgan Geeky
I loved how
on his
Geeky
line.
played.
Yeah, Geeky played well, and You're not looking for massive offensive production out of Geeky. You're just looking for a solid guy who can be relied on defensively, put a couple in the net when he can, and just be that 200-foot player that he is, while also, being a bigger body too, and using that to his advantage alongside Frederick, who is, I think personally, is for sure going to get past 20 goals this year, for sure.
And I think I'm more so sure of that at the fact of if Charlie Coyle goes back down to that third line, they start playing together. Now you're adding a guy like Geeky. I think he gets 20 goals.
Yeah.
I loved how Coyle and Freddie played last year, and I think that's what you're going to ultimately end up seeing. Four balanced lines, like Coyle and Freddie obviously have very good chemistry together. They have that experience playing with each other, and yeah, I think without a doubt he hits 20. I know it's early, but barring injury, I mean, the ice time that he's getting, the opportunity that he's now getting again, like I could definitely see it. And one other thing that I wanted to bring up about Poitras is I don't know if you got a chance to watch the power play close, but one thing that I noticed were they moved the puck really well, but I think one thing that they're really missing and one thing that they're so used to is having Patrice Bergeron in that bumper spot. A right-handed shot. There were, I want to say, like 3 or 4 passes that they tried to make that would have been perfect for a right-hand shot in that bumper spot. And it just, again, Xhekaj was there. He's a lefty, and it went out of the zone. What I'm curious about is, at some point, do you think they put Poitras in that bumper spot? And that way you're adding a right-hand shot again in that bumper position. And I don't know, like, I know it's going to come with time, and like they'll work on the power play. They've had Xhekaj there, but one thing I'm curious about is maybe they put Poitras in that spot. Like that way you're getting a right-hander. He's got a good shot. I wouldn't be surprised by it. I think it's something that could work.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, because that was something that was kind of, that was evident. Like you said, there were a couple passes there where they were just kind of expecting that righty to be there, and the pass is a little, too far away where it bounced off the boards and out of the zone. But I mean, Poitras played just under 3 minutes power play time anyways. And you're right, he's got the shot, and if you put him on the bumper spot, I mean, he's creative enough to find that open lane, create space himself, and find the open guy. That's a good. I would like that, actually, and especially for a guy like Poitras too. I mean, give him that opportunity, even if it doesn't work right away. Give him the chance, see what he can do.
Yeah.
Obviously, the 19 years of Bergeron being in the bumper spot is kind of like muscle memory at that point for the guys who've been playing with him. So just to have that righty there, yeah, I like it. And I actually, now that you say it, I want to see it, and I just want to see what it would look like in that dynamic.
Because I mean, you're bumping Xhekaj. It's not a demotion. I mean, you want 2 balanced power plays, right? You want 2 balanced units, and adding Xhekaj to that second unit, put him in the bumper spot in the second unit as a lefty. Switch it up a little bit. I mean, I think it's something that could work, and we'll see if we see it at some point. I mean, I would just be curious if it actually works.
Yeah, I like the idea, dude. I like and then you can get Poitras time with studs like Pasta, Marchand, McAvoy, like
bump those points.
You know what I mean? Yeah, get those. Yeah, pad those stacks, dude.
Dude, listen, my dynasty, he's already up to like 35 points in like 12 games, so we'll see.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Would you make him a 99?
100 poise.
Yeah, I was gonna say the poise has to be up there, dude.
Yeah, so that's pretty much our Bruins talk. I mean, we could go on all day, man. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going the game tomorrow, so that's up in the air. I'm sure I will, but we had some pretty big news across the NHL this week. As far as contracts for coaches and players. Owen Power signed a 7-year, $58.45 million deal, which is 8.35 annual average value. What were your thoughts on this deal as soon as you heard it? I know you're a big Buffalo guy, so
yeah,
I feel like this is a steal.
It's a steal. It's similar to what's his name in Ottawa, Sanderson, the deal that he got. I think it's smart for both the player and the team. I saw people online saying like, why would Owen Power do this? Why would Owen Power sign this deal? Like, he could make so much more money with the cap going up, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But I mean, keep in mind, who knows what happens in 7 years? Maybe he gets hurt. Maybe he
Who
ends up
knows,
missing a lot
dude?
of
Who
games.
knows what happens tomorrow?
Right, exactly. So it's like, as a kid, what's he gonna do? Say no to $58 million? Like, come on.
Dude, yeah, I'm pretty sure I know exactly who you're talking about. I saw those same tweets, dude, and it's
Yeah,
like the kid is 20 years old, making fucking 60 sheets on this next deal. Like, who the fuck is gonna say no to that? So what are you gonna like? Yeah, you could bank on yourself, I guess, but like injuries happen, fucking
right.
who fucking knows? His family is now taken care of for the rest of their lives, for his life, the next generation. Like again, this is a perfect deal for them, and it's a good deal. You mentioned for Buffalo.
Yep,
It feels like one of those things that they're all kind of buying in
yep,
to right, to this system that they're doing, this what they're trying to build.
yep.
I mean, Darlene, I think was well worth 11.
Yeah,
I think
I
I
think I
think
think the Darlene deal was good, especially the cap's gonna jump. So I mean, that's a guy, that's your cornerstone piece. Rasmus
yeah,
Darlene, he's your cornerstone. So
and
you got to pay a guy like that.
people forget what Tage Thompson's making,
Right,
right?
right.
Right? Like let's be real here. Tage Thompson at some point could probably be making 11 sheets
Yep,
a year.
yep. And I
And
think too, for in terms of like, upcoming contracts for the Buffalo Sabres, I think now that your future captain in Darlene is in at that 11 mil, um, I think that's your benchmark. I think
yeah,
everybody on that team knows that nobody's going to be making more than that. That's the benchmark. That's your
right.
cornerstone piece, and everyone follows his lead. And if they think they can make more than that on the open market, then I guess go try it. But like we've seen in Boston and other teams too, like Pittsburgh especially, if you want to create that winning culture and become perennial cup contending team, you need to buy in as a team and do it as a
Mhm.
team, and that starts with the contracts. And the way Buffalo is doing it right now, I think is very, very, very smart. Like you said, it does seem like they're all buying into the system, into the team mentality. And I think this is the core group of the Sabres that you're going to see for years to come. And sure, like Darlene probably could have asked for more. Power definitely could have asked for more. But at the end of the day, $58 million is plenty of money. Um,
Yeah.
and I personally, I would think you would want a balance of winning, achieving your, childhood dreams of winning a Stanley Cup, and doing it together with a group that's bought in, like these guys seem to be trending towards. So I,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's I love that shit, dude. Like I love the fact that everyone's buying in. They just want to
Yep.
win, dude. It's very similar to like Bruins teams that we've seen in the past that that we've been so close with and whatever. Like
Yep.
that's exactly what they did. Like but everyone bought in. Marchand's making a little bit over 6 mil a year. Let's not forget, Pasta was making less than 7 mil his first. Like that's to get that kind of talent on that kind of deal. They wanted to buy in. Obviously, it didn't work out last year,
Yep.
and we're in a new direction. But that's exactly the approach they took,
Yep.
and it
Yep.
almost worked. I mean, they were, it didn't work out the way we wanted it to, but they were a fucking damn good team.
Yeah, and even in that in that mindset, everybody knows the Stanley Cup is probably the hardest trophy to win in sports, because everybody knows with playoff hockey, anything can happen. I mean, you saw the Florida Panthers last year make playoffs on the last day and go all the way to the cup.
Yeah,
So I think in terms of buying in and just giving yourself the best chance to actually get to the pinnacle of your dreams, that's kind of what it is. Like, you have to set yourself up for that chance, and they did that, and they've done that for the past 15 years.
yeah.
They got to what, 3 Stanley Cups, won one of them. But it's just more of giving yourself the opportunity to even have a seat at the table, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and let's also give Buffalo credit here too. Like they've
Yep.
done, yeah, they've been bad for a long time, but at the we know that you have to be able to draft well too. Like
Yep.
nothing is a lock. Like you
Right.
still have to be able to pick the right guys. pick the most talented that in their opinions, and I think they've done that. I mean,
Yeah.
Darlene at that point in the draft, he was a lock at number 1. I mean,
Yeah.
but who knows? Maybe they have a different GM that thinks someone else is better. Like it takes. There's a bunch of moving parts. You have to be able to draft well. You have to have the players buy in. You have to have good code. I mean, like it goes on and on. Um,
Yeah. Just to even talk about that, right? Let's see here. So I'm looking at Buffalo's just throughout their history, draft picks and where they made their selections. Let's see. Isaac Rosen, 14th overall, good pick. JJ Paterka,
nice
34th overall
nice
pick,
goal
really
last
good.
night.
Yep. Yeah, nice goal last night. Let's see here. Picard, 94th overall. That's a good pick. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. He was a 54th overall pick. I mean, Casey Fitzgerald, 2016, 86th.
He's no longer with the team. Yeah,
No longer with the team, but I mean, if you look through their history, they have, they pick the right guys in the right spots. And you're right. You can be bad, and that doesn't guarantee that you're gonna automatically be good in the next 5-10 years. Like you
hmm
need to also make some value picks and lean on your scouts and your front office guys who you can trust on, and they've done that, and you're seeing it pay off in dividends right now.
yeah, for sure. And to pivot a little bit, to talk about another defenseman who actually just few minutes, or right before we started the show, we were talking about it. Elliot Friedman reported that Devin Taves and Colorado Avalanche are getting closer to an extension. And I'm curious what this number is going to look like, because that's another team that has done this exact thing that we're talking about and having everyone buy in,
Yep.
right? And I'm curious what his deal is going to look like, because I think you and I both know it's going to be a number way less than what we thought he was going to get, and
Yep.
probably way less than he would get on the open market, right?
Yeah.
What do you think that deal could maybe look like?
For Devin Taves, well, I mean, you got to think would you consider him more offensive or would you consider him two-way?
No, he's a two-way.
Two-way,
He's a
okay.
two-way. I think what makes him so special is more so his defensive ability.
Yes.
Um,
While also being that
while
offensive
also
guy.
having that ability, like he can jump in the play and he can create offense, but I think what he's most known for and his staple is his defensive game.
Yeah. Like, I mean, looking at his numbers, I mean, last season he played 80 games, put up 50 points. The season before that, 66 games, 57 points, while also being a positive player, obviously, with that Colorado team. But if the Avalanche can lock him up, say, and talk about another team that could, you know, benefit from guys, locking in and taking a little bit of a cheaper deal in order to create a successful team. I think Devin Taves is one of those guys. So depending on the term, he's what? He's 28, 28, I think 29, something like that. But he's probably looking to end this contract to end his career, right? Take it right to the end. So maybe like 5-6 years, six and a half, 6.5.
I think it's low. I
Yeah.
mean, but again, that's what we're saying though, is because when, say, we were talking about that Owen Power deal, right? Like
Right.
2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I would have told you, yep, he's going to sign a 7-year deal, and it's going to be 8.35 a year. I think you would look at me and go, "You're fucking crazy. There's no way that he signs that."
I'd call you nuts.
Yeah, right. So like again, who really knows? Like, yeah, to us right now, we're talking about this right on October 13th, Friday. Like tomorrow, dude, we could be looking at this deal saying the exact same thing as we did with the Owen Power deal. Like
Yep.
they're looking to buy in. They want to create that culture. They already have created that culture. They've been a damn good team for however many years now. And this is a guy that I could see him signing like this, like a 6.5, 7 maybe.
Yeah.
And like he wants to maybe end his career in Colorado. Like they've built a winning culture there, and I wouldn't be the least bit surprised at this point, especially after seeing this Owen Power deal.
Right. And you got to think too for him. I mean, coming up on his age 30 season next year. He's at this point in his career, like you've made your money, right? You still want to make money, but you don't have to sign that, massive deal. At this point, I would think he wants to win again. He wants to win another cup, solidify a legacy in Colorado with guys like Makar, Landeskog, if he, comes back and is healthy, McKinnon, Rantanen. Yeah, be a part of that core group and be remembered as that group that, led this era of Colorado Avalanche hockey. And talk about a guy who's underrated a little bit too. I feel like when you think about Colorado, dude, you don't really think about Devin Taves, and he's a top pairing defenseman on probably all 32 teams.
Yeah.
And he's just a guy that flies under the radar, and that's probably because he plays, with Cale Makar, who shadows him a little bit, almost like Malkin to Crosby, right? But if they can sign him to a deal, I'll even say under 7.5, then great deal for Colorado. Yeah, unbelievable deal for Colorado.
Yeah, I agree. And again, he flies under the radar so much. Like, I think what it reminds me of is why people don't consider Charlie McAvoy a top 5 defenseman right now, right?
Yeah.
He's obviously super talented. He plays that two-way game though. And that's not sexy to a lot of people. They don't, people want to see the numbers and the goals and we saw it last year with the Norris Trophy win.
I was just gonna say it's not gonna win you a Norris.
Yeah, but again, I mean the real hockey fans that appreciate every type of player, right? The two-way defensemen kind of go under the radar, right? I mean, I would say he's top 10, top 15 defenseman.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think top 10 would be. I'm more so leaning in that 10 to 15 range, but I'd be curious what people think. I don't have the list. This is right from the top of my head. I probably would put him in that 10 to 15 range.
Yeah, I mean, I would maybe even
high, maybe even like 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, because you got to think, right? I mean, you got Cale Makar,
Adam Fox,
Charlie McAvoy, Miro Heiskanen, Roman Josi, Victor Hedman.
This is not going to be a good look. If we
Devin Taves? I mean, seriously though. I mean, Dougie Hamilton doesn't really move the needle. I wouldn't say he's not top 10. I mean, I wouldn't say he's top 10. Yeah,
I'm looking, dude. I'm looking at like Morrissey. He's another one of those guys.
Yeah,
Morrissey's another one of those guys that doesn't get a lot of love.
Jacob Trouba is one of my favorite players in the league.
Dude, he's so fun to watch. I love watching him fucking bury people.
He was giving it to our boy Benson last night, dude.
I saw that. He wanted to drop the mitts.
I know. He did.
Dude. Zach was like, I don't know if he wants those problems. Not yet, dude. Like, dude, no. Trouba's a big boy. But yeah, you mentioned that I'm going down looking at Erik Karlsson probably is still up there. Quinn Hughes. Dude. Yeah, he could be top 10.
Yeah. I would say he's top 10 for sure.
Who's a guy kind of not to get like off tangent or whatever?
Let's do it.
Miguel Xhekaj, dude.
Yep.
He is blossoming into like about to be the number 1 defenseman for Tampa.
Yeah. No, Xhekaj is nasty. Also, we're dumb. Why did we not mention Dahlin? We were just talking about him. Also, did you see his hip check?
Cut that out. Yeah, oh my God, his hip check. Dude, I posted it on the Drop the Mitts TikTok, and like, dude, we got so many comments like, holy shit, like how did the dude made one move in and Dahlin already knew. He was like, yep, you're going. Yeah.
Dude, he must have been playing a shit ton of NHL 24. Yeah. Taking some notes.
Dude, if he did that in the Garden, they would have been up in the Rafters Club.
Literally.
In NHL.
Yeah, dude. But that game, I mean, again, kind of getting off tangent a little bit, but that game was getting chippy. that Rangers Sabres game, there was a shift where
The Rangers look fucking good.
they do, dude. And there was a shift where there were about 12 hits for each team. I
Yeah.
think it was Jordan Greenway got his helmet knocked off, and then the puck goes back into the Rangers zone, and Trouba gets hit, and he gets his helmet knocked off. Place is going nuts. It was just like it was one of those moments where I was like, oh my god, like hockey's back. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, let's go.
That could, in time, turn into a phenomenal rivalry in this league.
Could be. It could be this year.
It could be, especially if Buffalo starts making some noise.
Yeah,
I could see that being a very good rivalry, dude.
and I mean, you got Devin Levi versus Shesterkin. You got Panarin versus Thompson, Zibanejad, Talk. Like you got stars on the team: Trouba, Darlene, Power, Fox. Fuck. I mean, I was gonna say one more thing too. The last 4 meetings before last night, those games all went to extra time too, so they're neck and neck.
Yeah, you got the usual production right from and Mika Zibanejad making unbelievable plays, Chris Kreider putting the puck in the net. But one thing that is different and that can put this team over the top is if you start to see Lafreniere and Kako start to play the way that they should be, and I think they're going to get a much better opportunity under Laviolette.
Yep.
And you saw Alex Lafreniere put the puck in the net, and he scored the first goal. And they deserve to have these opportunities. Like you're spending top three picks on these guys. Like you're not going to bury them on the third line. I think you're going to start seeing these kids get opportunities, and I really hope they pop, man, because they've gotten so much shit over the past since they've been drafted that they're bust, whatever. Like, and I was happy to see him score. I know our boy Johnny Lazarus is going to be happy to hear that, but he was all fired up on Twitter, dude. But it was a good game. I was not impressed with Buffalo. They
didn't look good.
You know, it's game one. I mean, obviously, I'll pump the brakes, but man, I don't know if it was just Buffalo was that bad or the Rangers were that good. And again, way too early to tell. They looked good, man. Zibanejad's play, like on Kreider's last goal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was like, they just know exactly where they're going to be at all times. Like they have such good chemistry.
I mean, talking about how it's early in the season, and obviously you can't be, making assumptions about teams, right? The Edmonton Oilers got absolutely dummied by the Vancouver Canucks.
They got waxed.
8-1, dude. Brock Besser had 4 goals.
By the way, he was still available in fantasy, and I best believe I snagged him.
Damn. Fuck
yeah.
I mean, Vancouver is such an interesting team to me, dude. I don't know.
They have the piece. This is the thing, dude. They don't, on paper, they don't have the greatest team. Like, again, we've already gotten whispers about Connor Garland possibly being moved.
Right. How
true that is, I don't really know. I feel like it's every freaking year we're talking about Connor Garland to Boston, Connor Garland to, like, again, I just, they have good pieces in place, dude. Like, we talk about, well, is Elias Pettersson going to sign a long-term deal? I mean, yeah, just because they didn't give him the captaincy, that doesn't mean he's automatically gone.
Right.
Like, who knows? Like, who knows? Maybe he just wasn't fit. Like, and I don't know. You might see a similar situation in Boston. Like, yeah, Pasta's probably their best player, but is he going to wear the C? Probably not.
Right.
Let's be real. Let's be real. It's going to be, like, I think, yeah.
Like your best player doesn't have to be the captain.
Exactly.
Like the person who leads by example should be the captain.
Exactly. And, like, again, they have Quinn Hughes is fucking gross. Thatcher Demko threw up in his own helmet. Yeah. Like, did you hear about that?
Yeah.
He had the flu, dude, and he fucking blew chunks. And he kept playing.
I know, and he kept going. That's a hockey guy. Yeah, that's a hockey guy.
Hockey guy for sure. But
yeah, dude. I mean, the Canucks are probably one of the most interesting teams to me. Same with the Jets and the Flames. I think those 3 teams are kind of wild cards on how they perform this year. I mean, especially Calgary too. If Huberdeau can kind of get back to his game, who knows what happens with them? But This is the good thing about early on in the regular season is that you can kind of see these teams who you don't have a good, feeling, I guess, about. Like, you don't really know how they're going to perform. Those are the most exciting teams to watch, because as time goes on, you'll be able to be like, okay, like you can see them clicking, or you can see them like, ooh, like this doesn't look good. Like the chemistry's not good. The
Yeah.
vision isn't good. You can just tell if teams are clicking or not. And I mean, clearly the Canucks were clicking. The Flames also won. The Jets. I mean, the Jets are the Jets. Did we talk about Hellebuck
We did.
we did?
Those,
Yeah,
yeah, I think actually they signed those 2 extensions like right before we recorded.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did touch on that. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
which
right.
2 phenomenal deals again. Like, you lock your 2 pieces, like they're not going anywhere
No.
unless they decide to trade them, which I don't know. Did they? Yeah, not to get off tangent again, because we both have severe ADHD. But so I don't know. Like, do they sign those deals to be more appealing to teams come like deadline time? Like, they're under good contracts. You're not running the risk of them, or of Scheifele at least hitting free agency. Like, he's locked up. Is
Yep.
that more appealing to teams going forward? Like, you have to look at it from both sides. Like, yeah, it's a great deal if they stay with the team. It's
Right.
great money. It's a win-win for both teams. But I still, in the back of my mind, think they could be on the move. And I think it's the beginning of this year and up until like halfway through the year is gonna play a huge part in that.
I think it's gonna depend on where they are in the standings, right? If they're and I think they probably had that conversation with Scheifele and Hellebuck too, saying, we'll sign you guys if we, because there were so many rumors this offseason. Like, there's definitely truth behind it. It has to be.
Yeah.
But I think where they are right now, I think they're going to see where they end up, and they probably made, behind closed doors agreement with those two, where if the season doesn't go as planned and they're a trash bag team and they're not going to make playoffs, then they'll move them. But if not, then they kind of have the pieces anyways to make playoffs. So they're such a weird, bizarre team. They are so weird.
Yeah, those 3 teams you mentioned, like, between Calgary, Vancouver, and Winnipeg, it's a toss-up, dude. Like,
It
one
is.
of those teams could catch fire. Like, one could turn into a dumpster fire. Like, it's gonna be such a dogfight in that division, dude. Like, for
Yep.
I think wild card spots. It'll be a fun division to watch, I think.
Yeah. 100%.
Especially if they're all doing well, like, just better for the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Like that, yeah. Vancouver looks fucking good. Brock Besser ripped it up, dude.
Yeah.
Brock Besser had 4 goals. We're talking about opening night. Austin Matthews had a hat trick.
Yep.
There was also something else I wanted to touch on too. No, that was it. But again, yeah, a lot of goals being scored. Like, and yeah, if Vancouver is good, man, they're gonna be fun to watch. I love Pedersen.
I know. Pedersen is so good.
Pedersen, dude. And I don't know. I have a feeling Vancouver would be kind of silly, right, to let him walk.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
100%.
I would lock him up. Like, I'd lock him up, no doubt.
Yeah.
But so as far as players go, Lindy Ruff signed a multi-year extension to stay the head coach of the Devils. So kind of flipping to the coaching side of things. Yeah, I love that too, dude. I love Lindy Ruff and that Devils team. They're gonna be a wagon this year.
Yeah, and I mean, throwback to what was it? The I think it was opening night last year at the Prudential Center, and all the fans were chanting "Fire Lindy." And I'll never forget, the camera pans over to him, and he tapped one of his assistant coaches on the shoulder. He's like, "Are they saying like fire me? Like what did I do?"
He's on the bench just going.
Yeah, bring it. I don't hear you. But I mean, the Devils are so good, dude. The Devils.
Did you see Jack Hughes' goal from literally no angle last night? I think it was his second goal.
Yep, behind the net when he hit it off of what's his face? Was Schmid playing? Was Schmid in net?
No,
Vanacek. It was Vanacek. Bounced it off of Vanacek's head into the net. Oh, I
No,
was, you know,
no, he's the goalie for the Devils.
I meant, oh yeah. I'm sorry, I just got my teams
He
mixed up.
scored
They were
on his
playing
own
they
net.
were playing the Red Wings. Yeah, they were
It
playing the Red Wings, but
was Husso, I think.
Huso. Yeah, it was Huso. I was watching that game too. Detroit looks pretty good. I mean, they're a quick team. DeBrincat looked really good too. DeBrincat was firing the puck.
I know that hurts. I know that
It
hurts me to say.
it did hurt. It hurt my soul to say that, but he looked good. And I think it was ESPN, right? They brought up a stat. He's I think it was over the past 3 seasons, he's 15th in the league in goals. So I mean, the guy can fire the puck. It's just the fact that he's just a little like soft. It
Yeah.
just annoys me.
I
But
think
he's good.
Yeah, I think him and Larkin are gonna have really good chemistry together.
Yeah, I think so
Yeah,
too.
they looks good. But yeah, kind of. I think with that Detroit team, you're gonna see significant bounce back years
Yep.
from Mo Seider and Lucas Raymond.
Oh,
I mean, they obviously hit their the sophomore slump, pretty normal, and I think you're gonna see huge years from them, bounce back years.
yeah, and I do too. And it surprised me. I don't know why. But in terms of Lucas Raymond, right? I feel like he's been in the league for like at least like 6 years. This
Yeah,
is
it's on
only
his
his third
third.
season.
Oh yeah,
And like people are talking about him as if he's like this giant bust. And you know what I mean?
he had a look at what he did his rookie year, dude.
I know, no, I
But
know.
like,
I know, but you still hear people saying that like,
yeah,
and I think that's more of Detroit fans just being frustrated that they've been, you know, a below average team for a long time now, and that's not what that franchise usually is. So
yeah,
I think their expectations in terms of like their timeline of being back to being a successful team is behind the 8 ball a little bit, and I think he's just one of the whipping boys for them. But
yeah.
if I would heed a warning to Detroit fans not to do that because he's kind of nasty. And I think also um Philip the Philip Zadina thing for Detroit didn't work out too well. I think
He
that
he had a goal
yeah,
last night.
he had a goal last night, but I don't know why you would go after Raymond. If anything, look at Zadina. You know,
Yeah.
like
Well, Zadina was getting it pretty good while he was there.
right, right,
Um, Detroit kind of reminds me of a Buffalo Sabres,
yeah,
right?
oh yeah,
Where I think they've been kind of at the bottom for some time now, and I think you're going to start seeing a lot of these picks hit, right?
yep,
Like,
yep,
yeah, sophomore slump for those two. We haven't even brought up Simone Edvidson,
yep,
who I don't know. He's damn good defenseman, Swede. They got him 7th overall. Marco Casper.
yep.
Again, they have all these draft picks, and I think you're going to start seeing they're going to hit right. And they've already got a pretty good core in place with your top line with DeBrincat and Larkin. Like I think you're going to start seeing some good things from Detroit as long
Yeah,
as
I
they
do
don't
too.
fucking drive their players out of town, right?
Right, right, yeah.
So, but yeah,
I
I think
mean, just trust the eyes are plan.
man, they're so wishy-washy on that. Like one
I
day
know.
when they like, "Oh, the eyes are playing, it's working." They lose one game and they want to fucking can the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there in my notes. Oh, I wanted to talk to you. So I saw your predictions, right? I gave mine as well.
Yeah.
And I was reading, Mikey Grinelli over at Spit and Chicklets gave his and one take that he gave that I like am now like convinced of
Yeah.
is Jack Hughes for the Heart. Dude, I'm like sold. Because think about it, dude. If this team bounces back, right,
Yeah.
which I think they will. I mean, they're going to be top of the Metro, in my opinion. And he's going to be good for over 100 points,
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, dude, you have to think it's going to be a serious like I don't know, like it's a hot take, yes, because he's going to be competing with the Connor McDavids of the world,
Yeah.
Austin Matthews, like
He should
I
be in that conversation though.
he's got and again 2 goals. He makes plays at will, dude. Like again, he skated that last goal that he scored with no fucking angle. Palat gave him the puck, gave him the puck at the hash, dude, and he skated the entire way up and shot with absolutely no angle.
Yep.
I don't know if he keeps making plays like that. That's a serious and then you got to just think about the situation that he's in. Like if say New Jersey finishes top of the Metro, like you got to at least he's going to be a huge part of that. And I think we talked about it on one of the earlier episodes. Like how do you define most valuable player, right?
Yeah, dude. Because I'm trying to think, right? Because obviously, it's turned into kind of McDavid's trophy to lose every year, just because obviously he's
points,
points. But also just the fact that he's so consistent doing it too, it's almost like expected. So it would have to be a crazy year for Jack Hughes, and that's not saying that he needs to score more points than McDavid. That's not what I'm saying. But I think in order for him to, surpass McDavid to win the Hart this year, he would have to consistently on a nightly basis get a point or two. Maybe put in close to 10 game-winning goals. Really just drive that team and be the horse for them. Even if he's 15 to 20 points less than McDavid, if New Jersey can win the division, say New Jersey has an overall better record than Edmonton at the end of the day, then he has an argument. It's so hard at the end of the day to justify picking him over McDavid right now, just because McDavid has that pedigree. You know what I mean?
And I know, again, we're only one game in, but we know exactly McDavid has shown that consistency that he's going to score 120 points a year.
Right.
It's going to if he doesn't get injured. That's the only way, in my opinion, that he doesn't. If he doesn't play.
Right.
But yeah, again, I think. What does it take? You think 40 goals over 100 points? Very similar to what he did last year. But again, is the
thing is how many do you think McDavid is going to put up? Because if it's more than a 30-point gap, then
wait, how many points?
Points, yeah, not goals, points.
Right off the bat, my mind goes straight to over 120.
Okay. Because last year, Jack Hughes had 99 points.
That's a big gap.
And that's what I'm saying. So, if it's more than... I'll even go to say, if it's more than a 25-point gap, then I don't think you can justify it. Unless Edmonton is just trash, and they third in the division, and the Devils win the division by a margin. It depends.
But remember what Taylor Hall did when he won a Hart. You know what I mean? It's so... I don't know. I think for him they have to win the division, right?
They have to win the division.
I think that's a no-brainer. That's the only way that you're going to take it from McJesus.
Yeah, and on the opposite end of the spectrum too, Edmonton can't finish first in the division. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I got you. Yeah, I was curious. I saw that take and I was like, that it makes a lot of sense.
It does.
You know what I mean? I feel like we're getting to a point where it's McDavid. And at some point, I feel like they're going to just voters. And again, I have never been in the situation where I have to vote. But you would
maybe
think
one day.
You wonder if they look at Jesus, this guy's going to take home another fuck. He's not going to have any room in his house. And I was interested by that. I was like, well, it could make sense, but I think we touched on it. They have to win the division, and I think he has to be within a less than a 20-point margin of points than McDavid.
What?
I don't know. I'm gonna post this. I'm gonna clip this and see what people think, because I'm honestly curious what people think it would take.
Yeah, no, I that's a good idea. I want to hear people's opinions, but if you could pick your 3 favorites for the Hart right now, who would it be?
McDavid, obviously. Yep. I think Austin Matthews.
Yep.
And Jack Hughes.
Yep. Those are my 3.
Yeah,
those are literally my 3.
Yeah, I think there's mean, obviously, there's other players that are going to make a run at it.
Yep.
But I think right now, if you had gun to my head 3 names, that's what I'm going with.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think Pasta's going to be in that conversation. I think he goes for 50 again this year.
Oh yeah.
McKinnon obviously is Nate McKinnon is Nate McKinnon.
Yep.
Kucherov looks like he's back to form. Like
he could have a strong argument too with the Vasilevsky injury if Tampa's able to, power through that the way that the Bruins did last year when we were without McAvoy
hey,
and
what
Marchand.
about a guy like Tage Thompson?
Tage Thompson, he's definitely in the running, although he would have to put up like astronomical numbers, I think.
I think they'd have to take that division too.
Yeah, they would also have to take the division. I think any player who's going to win the Hart this year is going to have to come from a team that wins their division, just because there's so much parity around the league and so many stud players. It's going to have to take that extra, step team wise to really justify them winning that trophy. But that's the exciting thing about the NHL right now too. It's that there are so many options for every trophy. There's so many teams that are right on the bubble too of making playoffs or not making playoffs. There's really only a handful of teams that are like dumpster fires, right? Like Philly, dumpster fire, although they're going to play hard every night just because they're under Torts and Torts doesn't want to tank. The Sharks are trash. Outside of that, like,
if I could stop you, you brought up Philly and actually just triggered in my mind.
Yeah.
I could not be more disappointed in Garnett Hathaway. And the hit that he threw on Zach Werenski, dude.
Yeah.
Comes to Boston, right? He's always been that player that kind of toes the line, right?
Yeah, that was
But
bad,
when he
though.
came to Boston, dude, he played very well. Like he would get in scrums every so often when it was warranted. But like, come on, man. As a hockey player, and not to mention a dude with a history of fucking, and I know the game is so fast, so he probably wasn't thinking that.
Yeah.
But again, dude, a knee-on-knee hit, and not to mention he can't say that I didn't mean to. He stuck his fucking knee out. Like it's that split decision, and that's such a shitbag move. Such a shitbag move.
And and I feel bad for Werenski too.
He can't catch a break.
And I heard it's not, it's not like a serious injury, but still, just the fact that he's always catching these strays and he's always getting hurt like this, it's like
he's gonna miss more time.
Right. And now, and especially for a team this year in Columbus that kind of honestly has high hopes.
Right.
Fantilli with a point last night too. Congrats to him on his first NHL point. Yeah. But I mean, you're looking at a team in Columbus that has a bright future and could make some noise this year too, barring an injury to Zach Werenski, which we saw last night. Thankfully, it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
But it does suck to see because Columbus is an exciting team. But yeah, Garnett Hathaway just. And you're right. The game is so fast. He probably didn't know in the moment that's what he did. But at the same time, you have to know what you're doing with your body.
Yeah. I more so was saying the fact that he probably didn't look to see that it was Werenski, nor would that have even mattered. But like you said it. You have to be in control of your body. Like that's just a no. That's like across the league. I don't care what fucking league you play in. Right?
Yeah.
Could be fucking mites all the way up to NHL. Knee on knee, dude. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, you cannot do that.
And he tried to go up to Werenski and kind of tap him on the ass and whatever, and Werenski was not having any of it.
Yeah.
And I don't fucking blame him, dude. He can't catch a break. And I think if he stays healthy and doesn't miss all this time, I think we're talking about a top 10 defenseman.
Yeah.
In the NHL.
100%. And I'm really, really curious, but you can keep going. I'm just going to look something up really quick.
Yeah, no. And honestly, to bring up Columbus. Yeah, it sucks, man. It's a shitty break yet again for this kid and for this organization. They look like a good team, man. Like they're another one. They're not going to be at the bottom this year. No. They are going to compete night in and night out. And again, Adam Fantilli with his first NHL point. Congrats to him. That was nice play. He kind of nice shot, rebound. So that it was a great play. But again, they're fun to watch. They're young. Johnny Gaudreau is fun to watch. Patrick Laine is fun to watch. Like this team is not a fucking dumpster fire. They're not, dude. They have fun players to watch.
Kent Johnson, Adam Fantilli.
Yes.
But the thing that I was just looking up too in terms of Werenski, right? So he's played 417 career games. He's missed 239 due to injury. So this, and he's in his 8th season too. This is he's either in his 8th or his 9th. But regardless, that's a guy who just every year he hasn't had a consistent year yet in terms of his health, where he's able to put together a full complete season to really show what he's made of. And it sucks because you're 100% right. That is a guy, if he's healthy, he is a top 10 defensive talent in the league.
Yeah, dude, it's such a shitty. Because again, yeah, and I hope going forward he can stay healthy, because that would be a real fucking disappointment, man. Like it's one of those like what could have been, like
right.
That's exactly what that is. And yeah, sorry to get off tangent. I thought that was such bullshit.
No, yeah, I mean it's a warranted conversation.
Yeah. Another thing that got me fired up, man. So I'm trying to think of like some sort of segment that we could do at some point. I'm sure we'll come up with something. Man, there were some good fights this week.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, dude.
Let's talk about Wi-Fi and Revo.
Yes, dude. I was hoping you were gonna bring that up,
dude. Two of the probably the biggest heavyweights at this point.
Yeah,
I mean Wi-Fi. We're talking. He's top 5 for sure fighters in this league.
Oh yeah.
And I was getting comments on my TikTok. Well, he didn't even do anything. Like all he did was drive him into the net. Do you know how fucking strong you have to be able to move Ryan Reaves, push him back into the net? Do you know how fucking strong you have to be able to do that? Miss me with that bullshit.
Yeah, no.
Like,
come on.
Yeah, like and man, the hit Revo, like again, Revo's Revo, like he plays the way he plays. Like,
yeah,
it was a questionable hit on Caden Gooley, and dude, as soon as Revo was going down, I know Xhekaj already had his fucking gloves off.
Yeah, like, dude.
It was a good one, man. And then another one that comes to mind was LA Kings rookie and former Harvard guy too, Alex Laferriere, dude.
Yep.
He dropped him with Liam O'Connor, who's no fucking slouch.
Yeah,
and
both those guys can throw.
He like fucking suplexed him. You can't convince me otherwise.
He's taking some notes from
shout
Joe
out to
Rogan.
him, man. And you know what, dude? My favorite thing, and even it reminds me of when Trent Frederick had his first fight.
Yep.
Seeing his fan Laferriere's, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correct. He's a Harvard kid, so I'd feel bad about that. But just seeing his, they transition the camera to his family, and they are all fired up. Like he's just chucking bombs, and they're just like all. Do you remember when Freddie was or was it Freddie?
I think it was Freddie. Yeah, I think it was when they panned over to his family, and they're like,
"This old man was like, shut up."
Yes. I think that was Frederick. That was Frederick.
Yeah, dude, and that's exactly what it reminded me of, because immediately they put the camera on the family, and it was just awesome to see. He fired up that crowd, man, and like they were loud. They were fired up after that, rightfully so. Like,
yeah,
he's a rookie and NCAA, Hockey East kid. You love to see it.
Yeah, and just kind of jumping back to the Bruins too. Freaking Beecher, after he made his kind of questionable hit, didn't even hesitate. He dropped the gloves.
He answered the bell.
Lucic was happy about it too. He said, this is a quote coming from Ty Anderson. Lucic was quoted as saying, "Beecher could use a little work fighting. I'll give him some pointers, but good to see him stick up for himself." So, I mean,
who better to get advice from and fighting tips from, right?
Right. And I mean, it was awesome to see him drop the gloves too. And you could because we were both there. We saw the whole thing unfold. Like he made the hit. He was kind of standing around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, "I'm gonna have to drop him."
Dickinson's he's a good fighter.
Yeah.
He's that guy for Chicago.
Yeah.
And yeah, we talked about it right after the game. I think what you and I were most excited for, obviously the win was great and everything. Just him answering the bell on that, right? Because he could have easily waited for a Lauco or a Lucic to come in for a big scrum, and then he goes to the box. No, he answered the bell right away. And it was just it, right? And he actually Dickinson ended up getting more fucking penalty minutes on that than Beecher did.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it was awesome to see, and he had said he got into a fight or two in Providence.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was awesome to see because he's a guy that, yeah, he can chuck him, but he can play as well.
Yeah, dude. I think just in terms of us being Bruins fans, I think that this is going to be one of the most fun fourth lines that we are going to get to watch since the Merlot line.
Dude, Lauko and Beecher are the fucking Bash brothers.
Oh my god, it is, and then you have
Lauko is so
Lucic.
fucking funny. It just every whistle, dude. But then this is the thing. They'll start getting into shit, and I noticed this a couple times.
Yeah.
They'll start getting into some bullshit, and I'm sure Lauko's got some fucking hilarious chirps or whatever. And then honestly, there's like a little scrum, and then Lucic just comes in and everyone separates.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're like, nah, we're good.
It's like when
It's like when siblings are fighting and all of a sudden dad comes over. No, everything's good.
yeah, everything's fine. No one's fighting.
Yeah.
It's like when you got like a bunch of puppies in the room and they're all just like bouncing around, like kind of nipping at each other and everything, and then the big old dog strolls in and everyone's like, oh shit, like we gotta stop.
Nah, we're good. We're
Yeah,
good.
we don't want any of that smoke.
Yeah, dude, oh man, I'm so happy hockey's back and
Yeah, me too.
I've been nonstop my ass on the couch from 7 p.m. till the last game, and then I go to bed. And I've been watching like all of them. I've been trying to take in because man, this off season was brutal, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to consume any hockey I can, and definitely want to. I'm gonna start. So tonight, gonna be headed to UMass Amherst to see Michigan, which is pretty cool. I've never got to see them play.
Yeah.
So we'll see that. I want to get some more college games, and that's something you and I should, consider.
yeah.
Like, there's teams that are so close to us that, and college hockey is unreal right now.
Yeah.
And not to get off, switch subjects, but it's gonna be fun to watch, and it's just so happy hockey's back.
Yeah, dude, me too. I can't be happier. The summer months without hockey, without football. I don't care about basketball, to be honest with you. I literally could not give a shit less about basketball. But in the summer months when it's only baseball and like golf on the TV, I just kind of feel lost. I'm like, what do I do with my life? I don't know what to do. I don't know how to function.
It's brutal, and like, yeah, it's just, and I used to be just a Bruin. Like, I'll watch the Bruins, whatever, and then go to bed.
Yeah.
Right, 7 o'clock usually they start. Now, dude, I've got every single game. Every single game. I'll flip through all of them. Like if there's a commercial, say on the Bruins, no, I'm going to the next game. and then when it comes back on, I'll there's not a moment where I'm not watching. At this point.
Right, and ESPN helps a lot with that too. Like I was on the ESPN app all night last night, just kind of flipping back and forth between games. Like Sabres, Rangers, intermission, go to the Devils, Red Wings, and just jump around like that. But yeah, dude, it's back. It's back. Let's go. Let's go.
So that concludes episode 16 of Drop the Mitts Hockey Podcast, brought to you in partnership with Primetime Productions. We do have an interview for you guys, a really special one. Gavin McCarthy, defenseman for the BU Terriers, brother of Case McCarthy, captain of BU. Another great interview, dude. I love talking to these kids and just these players, just getting to know their upbringing, how they started playing the game, their journey. He's a 3rd round pick to the Buffalo Sabres, and he's from Buffalo.
Yeah.
Right outside, and played for the Junior Sabres. It's one of those you got to listen to it. One of those stories where it's one of those like feel good stories, like storybook endings for him, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was cool. He's talked about BU's upcoming year and all the high profile names, dude. We were talking about that decor they have, and my God, dude, it's like you're like looking through the list, and there was like 9, and you're like, okay, are we rolling with 9 defensemen, or like how's this working? But yeah, he took the time to talk to us about that, and yeah, is there anything else that you got, buddy?
No, I'm just pumped. Super pumped that we have, nightly hockey to watch and real, stuff to talk about that
Yeah.
is just going to unfold over the next couple months. So I'm pumped up and I'm ready to do this. Let's
Yeah.
fucking go, baby.
Definitely, for all our listeners, definitely stay tuned. We've got some, we've got some really, really, really high profile people, scheduled to come on, and um, we're just so excited. This thing's kind of, it's growing, and just super fun to talk hockey every week.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so without further ado, Boston University defenseman Gavin McCarthy. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Welcome back to another episode of Drop the Mitts Hockey Podcast, brought to you in partnership with Primetime Productions. We have an awesome guest here, Gavin McCarthy, defenseman for Boston University, Buffalo Sabres prospect. Gavin, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Can't complain, man. I'm happy to have you on. Obviously, we got a couple. Both of us are big BU fans. So yeah, we're fired up to have you on. Talk some hockey and. Yeah, how's the off season been? What have you been up to?
Yeah, it's been great. Kind of just training and everything. Back into the swing of things now, obviously. So yeah, it's been great. Off
Yeah,
season was real good. So
how's school been going for you so far? I'm in the same grind, man. I wasn't ready to go back, and it's definitely a struggle. How is it going for you?
yeah, I've been online high school for I don't know the past couple years since my sophomore year of high school. So and then coming back to real school is definitely a challenge. So
Yeah,
kind of just getting back into it has been good. So
yeah. So are you're at BU, right?
yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So obviously, what was that transition like? Obviously you're a freshman. What was that transition like going to being at college for the first time?
Yeah, it's been good so far. I think we obviously have a really good group here. Practices have been super competitive, just trying to get better every day. No lack of talent, that's for sure. And every practice has been a grind. And it's so good to go against these special players and just makes yourself so much better. So
Yeah, so my buddy Sully, obviously he couldn't be here for this interview, super bummed out. And so he wanted to leave me with a couple questions for you. Um, what made you choose BU? Was it solely the fact that your brother is there? Obviously he's the captain of that team now. Like what led into that decision? Were there any other factors, and were there any other schools in play?
yeah, I think I saw BU's campus when I was super young, kind of following Case around. So really, it was the first college I've seen and kind of the behind the scenes look. So I think I kind of just fell in love with it when I was young, and then when I had the opportunity to come play here, it wasn't really it was a no brainer for me. So
Yeah, dude, and you mentioned you got a loaded group, dude. Not only, as a whole, obviously, but obviously we talk about that back end that you guys have. Obviously you got Weber, you got your brother, you got Tom Willander coming in. Obviously you got Lane Hudson, yourself. Like talk to us about what it's like playing with those guys. And yeah, just talk to us about that experience of playing with that group.
yeah, it's been amazing. Definitely have some super good defenders back there, and then the competition's great. Obviously, kind of just competing for your ice time and everything. It's nothing but the best back there. So it's been a great being around those guys, especially the older guys who have played in college hockey for a while. Just kind of taking tips from them has been amazing. So
Yeah, we got the chance to have Ty Gallagher on too, and obviously he's unbelievable kid, unbelievable guy. We know he's a great leader. How has he been as a mentor for you? And obviously he's one of the older guys. He's had success in the hockey East. What's it like been playing with him as well?
yeah, it's been great. I knew Gally a little bit before BU just because of being around. And obviously he's a great person, great player, and on and off the ice, he's just an all around guy. So being around him, kind of learning from him has been great.
So obviously, as far as the forward group goes, um, you got Celebrini coming in, who's obviously people are saying he's going to be the clear cut number one pick. Behind another guy who just recently decided that he was going to come to BU as well in Iserman. talk to us about what it's been like going against that forward group. Obviously, you're every day at practice defending these guys. Talk to us about this forward group at BU.
Yeah, like I said before, kind of going against these guys every day in practice has made me a ton better, I know. So it's been amazing, kind of just taking every rep, so serious. It's super competitive group, and every drill's a battle against them. So it's been great.
What was your initial reaction when you heard the news about Yzerman coming in? Obviously, for us, like on the outside, it was kind of crazy to see this an already loaded BU group, and all of a sudden you're adding arguably a top 2 pick, in this upcoming draft. Like, what was the news? What was the buzz around the locker room? Like, have you guys had a chance to talk to him?
No, I haven't talked to him yet, but obviously I was pretty shocked, and obviously super excited. Kind of get a player of that caliber, add him to the squad. Hopefully next year. So super pumped. I know everyone was super pumped and shocked at the same time. So
Yeah, same reaction as us, dude. Like as soon as I had to look at my phone twice, and I was like, "Are you like joking, dude?" Like, and so I kind of want to go back to talking about your relationship with your brother. Obviously, you're joining him now, for BU. Do you guys ever have any like good battles? Do you guys ever go at it ever? Like, what's it like now playing with your brother?
yeah, obviously growing up, kind of just battling against him
Yeah,
on and off the ice, but yeah, it's been good so far. Obviously, like I said before, he's played college hockey for a while now, and I kind of am grateful that I can come here and play with him and just uh, he's given me so much advice already, and we're only a month in, so uh, I'm super grateful for that, and I can't wait to keep learning from him.
yeah. What better person to learn from, right? Than the
Yeah,
person you grew up
exactly,
with, your best
exactly.
friend. Like that's unreal, man.
Mhm.
Um, I wanted to talk to you. It was crazy. I knew you were drafted by Buffalo. I went on Elite Prospects, all that. I didn't realize that you played for the Buffalo Junior Sabres, which makes this even more wild and like just must be a dream come true for you. Like obviously you're from Clarence Center, New York. Um, you've called New York your home pretty much your entire life. Like, and then finally you get to hear your name called. Um, 86th overall to the Buffalo Sabres. Like, dude, talk to us about that. Like, what was the preparation like leading up to the draft and then ultimately the day of the draft? Talk to us about, what that experience was like.
Yeah, it was surreal for sure. Kind of just sitting up there, a little anxious to hear your name called, obviously, but at that point, it's an uncontrollable. You can't really do anything about it. So I would have been grateful for anyone to take me. To be there is super special, but um, to be drafted by Buffalo is just that much more special. And went down to the table and saw some familiar faces down there,
Right.
guys I saw around the rink as a youth hockey player. So yeah, it was definitely amazing. And then going to Dev Camp was obviously super special too. Being back at that rink with an actual Sabres jersey on was something I won't forget. So
That's so wild, dude. Like I can't even it's like the picture perfect ending, you know what I mean? Like obviously
yeah,
you can't even make that shit up. Like it's so cool to see. Obviously, you mentioned you got the chance to go play in that rink again. Like what was development camp like? What were some of your takeaways playing with those other guys a part of the Sabres organization?
yeah. Just like I said here at BU, I'm kind of going against special players every day. Trying to learn as much as you can in the short period of time that you're there. Take everything in from the coaches and skills coaches there. You're only there for on the ice for a couple days, so you really have to absorb it all and kind of just take it all in.
Yeah, we talk about a lot of the on ice things, but a lot of the people that I've talked to, their biggest takeaways were the off ice things, the nutrition, the workouts. The For you, what were some of the big takeaways for on ice or sorry, off ice stuff?
Yeah, it was the nutrition, like you said, was huge. Kind of, we did some workshops there at development camp. Gained a lot of insightful information on kind of how to fuel your body game week and even like recovery days. So that was huge. And then the workouts were obviously super good. We only did a couple, but you definitely took a lot away from them. Learned a lot on how to same thing as nutrition, shoot your body on game week and even recovery days. So the off ice was amazing. Just being around those people for that week was definitely super helpful, and I took a lot away from it. So
we had the chance to have Zach Benson on. He was one of our first. I'm pretty sure he was one of our first interviews we ever did. It was bad for us on our part. Did you ever get the chance? Did you meet him while you were there? He's such a character, man. And obviously, I was at the Prospect Challenge in Buffalo, which again, Buffalo's such an underrated city, and I think it catches a lot of slack. I don't think the people who talk a lot of shit about Buffalo have actually been there. Because man, we had some of the best wings that I've ever had. Oh my, unbelievable.
yeah.
So did you ever get the chance to meet Zach? And if so, talk to us about him, dude. He's such a character.
Yeah, actually, funny story. Kind of after the draft, we were flying back from Nashville, and I was obviously with my whole family because everyone was going back to Buffalo. And Zach was on our flight, so that was kind of the first time I met him. Walking onto the plane, just introduced myself real quick, and then hung around him kind of at development camp. He's obviously a super good person, and then on the ice, he's an even better player. So being around him was great.
Did he shave the mullet at that point? I hope he wasn't still wearing that cowboy hat either, dude.
Yeah, he had the mullet, but the cowboy hat was lost. So
that thing was long gone, dude, on Broadway.
Yeah.
So that was your development camp experience. Elite Prospects has you listed as for whatever this means, part robust defender, part clever creator, who throws crushing hits as well as eliminate off puck threats. For the people that don't know what the hell that means, talk to us about some strengths in your game. Some areas in your game you really take pride on, and then some areas that you've been working on improving this offseason.
Yeah, I think I'd describe myself as a two-way defender. I think I take a lot of pride in my defense and kind of killing plays, whether it's off the rush or just in zone, and then kind of transitioning that puck north as fast as possible. I think that's a huge part of my game, kind of just moving pucks. And then getting better, I think I still need to get stronger. Obviously, it's a new level, college hockey. So kind of just continuing to build strength and go against these older, bigger guys will be beneficial. So.
Yeah, for sure, man. And obviously, we know how loaded the Hockey East is. I mean, that's just the Hockey East itself, not to mention the entire college hockey world. You guys open the season this Saturday against Bentley. What are your expectations for this season? I know that might be a stupid question. Obviously, you want to win a national championship. I sound like Jack O'Callahan there in Miracle, but what are your expectations for yourself, as well as the team, for the season?
Yeah, I think it's kind of the same for myself as the rest of the team. Kind of just go into the rink every day and get better. Take it one day at a time, and then that'll lead to bigger goals for us. And obviously, the biggest thing is winning. So that's obviously we're on everyone else's radar. Kind of the rest of the country, we're going to get all of their best games. So I think we just have to focus on going to the rink and, like I said, get better every day. So.
Yeah, man. Honestly, you guys are such an anticipated season for you guys. We're all fired up for it. This is probably one of the most loaded BU rosters I've seen, in recent times. And obviously, I wish you guys nothing but the best this season. I wish you nothing but the best this year. Best of luck to you, and I know you'll rip it up, dude. Thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, man. That was Gavin McCarthy of the Boston University Terriers, Buffalo Sabres prospect. Unbelievable interview. I can't thank him enough. And obviously Sully is, pretty pissed that he couldn't be here for this one, but we can't thank Gavin enough. And that is Drop the Mitts Hockey Podcast, brought to you in partnership with Primetime Productions. We'll see you next time, guys. Thank you.